Hi, so today I'm going to show you the egg diffusion lab. So the first thing is you need an egg. You can have a brown egg that came right out of a chicken, or you can have a white one. It does not matter. Okay, then I'm going to use a beaker. You can just use a clear glass container, or it doesn't even have to be clear. I've done this with plastic containers. You want something that you can cover with saran wrap. I've done it with Tupperware that I've covered with a cover, just so it doesn't evaporate. Okay, so I'm going to, for your lab, if you're in my biology class, you need to know how much vinegar and whatnot goes in and out of the egg. So what you do first is you trace the egg, okay, so you know what size it started with. We are putting 250 milliliters in the beaker. If you are at home, which I have done this before, and you just have a container, you just cover, you just pour some in. It does not matter how much. So I'm going to do 250 milliliters. Okay, 250 milliliters. You have masking tape. You can label it so no one dumps it out. But if this is the only thing that you're doing, now it smells like I'm dyeing Easter eggs. Okay, so I traced this with a marker on a piece of paper, and now I'm going to put it in here. Then I'm going to leave it for cover it with saran wrap. Then I'm going to leave it for 2 days. Okay, boom. This part is done. See, look at, you'll get bubbles on it already. See those bubbles? Okay, that is step 1. 2 days go by, and I should have a towel. Okay, now look at, what do you know? 2 days happened. This is what it looks like now. You can't see it, can you? So then you carefully take it out. Careful, careful, careful. Can you see what it looks like? See this? Okay, so now I'm going to measure how much is left. Eye level. Now, for those of you who have to write this down, it's 150 milliliters are left. So if I started with 250 and now I have 150, where did that extra vinegar go? Do you know? Did it go in the egg, do you think? Did it evaporate? What happened to it? So if we started with this, and notice this, did this vinegar, egg and vinegar, get larger or smaller? First off, the reason why you store it in vinegar is to get rid of the shell, okay? The acid in the vinegar destroys the shell. So that's step 1. Number 2, then the water that's in the vinegar goes in the egg. Like that. See, it got bigger. I should hold it like this. There we go. See? So this one got bigger in the egg. Then what we're going to do, step 3, okay, so we did that. Now I'm going to get a different beaker, and I'm going to measure 250 milliliters of white, well, I guess it doesn't matter what color corn syrup you use. I just have always used white, doesn't matter. So I'm going to put this egg that just got bigger in the vinegar, and I'm going to put it in the corn syrup. And I'm going to leave it for 1 day. So we'll come back tomorrow, and we will check to see what happened to that egg, okay? And then we're going to put it in water. So hypothesize. So we know that the egg got bigger in vinegar. Do you think it's going to get smaller or larger in the corn syrup? Let's see what happens. Okay, we have this big, huge egg. Remember, it is larger than this one. Look how much bigger that is. Okay, so now I poured 250 milliliters of syrup in here. Okay, 250. Can you see it? Maybe 250. Okay, so now I'm going to put this, and you have to cover it because it'll want to float. Can you see it? So like, look at, you have to push it in. If you're doing this at home, remember, if you're doing it at home, you don't need 250 milliliters. You just have to do enough to cover it. So like, you might have to push it down with your finger. It's corn syrup, so it won't hurt you. So you might have to check on it a couple times during the day and push it down. You definitely want to cover it with saran wrap. If you don't have saran wrap, cover it with something that you can have, because the top will dry out and then you won't get a good accurate results. I've seen some videos where they push it down with like a pencil, or actually probably a spoon, or something like that. But if you cover it, that'll prevent it, if you don't have anything putting it down, and prevent it from drying out. So now we will cover this and let this sit for 24 hours. So tomorrow we will check to see if it got bigger or smaller. Hi, so here's the next day, and I took this egg out of the beaker. And remember, yesterday we had put 250 milliliters of corn syrup. I don't know if you remember that. 250 milliliters of corn syrup. So I took it out. Look at it. It's so tiny now. So we have, I don't know if you can read that, there's 280 milliliters in this beaker now, 280. In case you don't know, that's more than 250. It's 30 milliliters more. So that means 30 milliliters came out of this egg into this beaker. So this is smaller than yesterday's egg. Now what are we going to do? We're going to put it in 250 milliliters of blue water. My students picked the color blue. They wanted red, but we were all out. Okay, ready? So we are going to put that in here. All right, it's sunk. We're going to let it sit for another day. So we will see you tomorrow, and when our experiment will be over, you can analyze all of the data. If you're doing this at home, cover your beaker so the water doesn't evaporate. If you're wondering, this is just distilled water or well water. It's hard to say. It's distilled water. It can be tap water. It can be well water. Ideally, it's just distilled, but if you're at home doing the experiment, you do what works. And we just added food coloring for the first time ever because we just wanted to try something new. All right, that is it. I will see you tomorrow. Hi, guess what? It is time to take the egg out. Oh, I already did. Oopsies. So it's in here. I took it out so I could dry it off. And if you look, there are 200 milliliters. If you remember yesterday, I put in 250 milliliters of blue water. Now I take the egg out. Look how ginormous that is from yesterday. So did it get bigger or smaller? Remember yesterday it was all deflated. So now it's bigger. Does anybody know how many milliliters went into this? There's 250 yesterday and 200 today. 50 milliliters went into this. So it got bigger. So this water was hypotonic, high water, low solute. This egg was hypertonic, high solute, low water. So the water went in. And now we are done. I do not recommend eating the egg at home if you chose to do this. See you later.